Hello and welcome back to another Speedbuild video. My name's Jess and today I'm building in Henford-on-Bagley on a 30 by 20 lot. And as you can see by the title, this build is inspired by Bridgerton, which I am so freaking excited for. It's actually ridiculous, like the weight that the countdown began for me the moment they announced it would be Colin and Penelope's season. I am absolutely obsessed with them as characters, with them as a pair. Actually, when they announced it, I finally was like, oh, okay, I have to read the books. And because I have this thing about series, I have to read them all in order. I read the first 4 books so then I could get to Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. And I have to say, it's pretty amazing what Shonda Rhimes has done with this series because personally, this is just my personal opinion. I don't think the source material is that great. I don't love the books, but I do love Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. So I'm just really excited for this season to come out. And honestly, everyone who knows me, my birthday actually just came up and I got so much pollen merch and just silly little shirts. I got some crocheted dolls. I got tea, of course. So it's just really cool, and stuff like that is nice because just a reminder that people know you well. But yes, so I'm very excited. And as you can see, the tiny house is really coming together. Hopefully you are getting some Bridgerton vibes from this because off camera, I just really did a bunch of playing around with what kind of build I wanted to do, how I wanted to attempt to make a tiny house evoke a Bridgerton manner, but it's very much different size. Because of course everyone in Bridgerton lives in these gorgeous estates, and they are fully mansions. This is a tiny house. It is, just so you know, it's 64 tiles. So if you do play with the tiny house feature on, it will be the tier 2 tiny house. Anyways, yes, so it took me a while to get something I was happy with, and I learned a little bit about Regency era architecture, trying to figure out something that could, evoke what I was going for. And so actually what I ended up using as slight reference photos was a gatehouse and a stable house. I think that's what they're both called. And yeah, I really love how it turned out, this little shape. The kind of glass room. Oh my gosh, there's a name for it. I can't remember, but that glass on the front, that little bump out, that is usually in the back of a build, but oftentimes I like to sort of flip builds where things that would normally be on the back of the house, I like to have them on the front because I think it's more visually interesting. And of course, when you're playing in The Sims, I think it's nice to have the most visually interesting part of the house be the one you see most of the time. So anyways, I really love how it came together. And there you can see I jumped ahead and did the terrain painting. I just knew it takes a minute. The camera moves really funky. So I was like, I'll just do it off camera. So we're starting with some landscaping right now. And as you can see, I went for purple because I wanted to bring in the purple of the wisteria. And when I found those purple field flowers, which I believe they're from high school years, I haven't been able to use them in a build, and I think they're so stunning. So I was like, I want to do it right now. And because I am doing this build, this is kind of more of a Penelope inspired build. So I wanted to use a lot of yellow, even though of course yellow is not her choice. It's just what her mom forces her to wear. But I still relate yellow with Penelope. So, and also yellow is my favorite color. So I'm not mad at using a ton of it. So anyways, this was a lot of fun to do, and it really just continued to bring out the fangirl in me. I definitely grew up going to Comic-Con and going to Harry Potter conventions and all these things. Obviously, Joe kind of ruined that for us. But it's nice to still have like all these little things that you can just get excited for. And actually, it's like, just to tell you the level that I'm at, my husband actually took the day off work so we can watch it together when it is released. So it's pretty sweet. And I already have plans for guys, it's serious. It's gonna be a serious day. So anyways, you can see I just really wanted to make this landscaping really lush. And what I didn't want was like a more manicured looking landscape. Like, I wanted to make it look like, you know, areas of it were kept up, but I still wanted it to look really natural. That was just the vibe that I was going for. It's definitely the vibe that I enjoy building the most. So I went with that, and I think it came together so beautifully, and I really had just a ton of fun. I did struggle a lot getting this like outdoor area furnished. I just wasn't exactly sure what to put out, but you'll see kind of the things as I grab them out here and there. But I was gonna mention Bridgerton was a great motivator to start building in The Sims again, because if you are someone who happens to have seen my videos in the past, you maybe have noticed it's been a while since I posted, which is apparently pretty typical me. But I had a really, you know, not awesome start to 2024. And it's funny I say start, but it's already almost May. But it's still starting. We can still turn things around. But yeah, a lot of things just kind of went wrong. And my energy just kind of went to different areas, and it's hard then to like find comfort in The Sims, because I start getting overwhelmed, like, oh, maybe I should try and post a video versus just building for fun. So anyways, been a minute. And one thing that, you know, I think it's worth mentioning, just because it was something that, you know, was a big part of sort of a struggle this year. I haven't really like overtly talked about on my channel that I have bipolar disorder, but I have bipolar disorder too. So what that kind of mainly means for me is that I struggle with just really intense bouts of depression. And it's something that the past couple years I've been really trying to make a priority in getting care for that and seeing a doctor. But only recently my doctor recommended actually talking to a psychiatrist, and that isn't something I've done since I've gotten on medication, which was really, really helpful for me. I definitely recommend it, going in and talking to your doctor. But talking to a psychiatrist was really, really huge, because I thought my medication was making a big difference, but just making a couple changes based on her suggestions has absolutely changed the game. Like, it is night and day, some of this stuff. And so anyways, I just want to encourage you, if you're having a rough time or just, you know, on that journey as well, you know, hopefully this might be a moment that inspires you to maybe reach out to a mental health professional, and hopefully get that care. And just know this internet stranger is sending you lots of love. But anyways, getting back to the build, and you can see made a lot of progress. So what I really wanted to do, I'm thinking in terms of rom-com, okay? I'm thinking, yeah, romantic movies. So I wanted to have a lot of like vignettes almost of like cute areas, like a couple could sit and have their first kiss and have some tea, have a picnic, do some gardening, have the swings. And I actually really love this little picnic area I did over here. I have to say, I struggled to find a rug that worked, and I don't think this works super well, but the purple gave me lavender vibes, and I thought there was a lot of that in this build, so I wanted to add that. But anyways, I thought it was so cute. So I really think there are a lot of photo ops in this build. But yeah, like I said, this is definitely more of a Penelope inspired build. And I have to say, we're about to get to the interior. So I just want to prepare you. Um, I did not stick with a Regency style interior. It's just not really my cup of tea or something I feel like I could do well, but I tried to still have things be kind of inspired by it, very vintage and eclectic. And I kind of wanted to bring the energy that I see in the Bridgerton women of just like, being a little bit um you not totally fitting into society and um like the wallflower vibes, very interesting. It's kind of my interpretation of that, but also I have to say, since it's been a minute since I done a build, I wanted to do it kind of in a style I love, which vintage eclectic is so up my alley, and I just had so much fun. So you can see, hopefully from this, you can see I'm kind of mixing the vibes, and I kind of did a lot of mixing and matching of tones to just make it feel really interesting. And of course, since this is kind of inspired by, not kind of, this interior is very inspired by Penelope. So I went ahead and used a lot of yellow, but like I said, I know that's not like her chosen color, but it is the color I associate with her. But in the upcoming season, they're going to use a lot more blues and greens, is what I read. And I really love this teal color that you can kind of see in the kitchen. And that's what I wanted to use the most. But while I was looking through the catalog, I found pieces that I just thought looked really cute together. So I went ahead here. So you can see I used this paranormal couch with a bench. Would you call that a bench? I think so. Gosh, I don't know, a glamour luxury kit. I think it's pretty old now. So I went ahead and did that, and I just thought they looked really cute together. So like there was other items that I did like a lot. But I just couldn't get this out of my head. So anyways, I went with this, and I just love how it came together. And of course, I'm thinking Penelope, a bit of a bookworm, so I wanted to have books everywhere, and more of a personal preference. I love plants and green things, and so there's a lot of that in this build. And you can see, actually, this is something I do in builds when I feel like, well, like there's not a lot of room, but yeah, this is a tiny house. So in tiny house builds, sometimes I'll use bar tables and shrink them down, and they make a really convincing side table. And so I think that's a good hack because they just don't use up as much space. Yes, and still I'm loving the frame TV. For me, it's still pretty new. So I had a lot of fun using that, and I think it's so beautiful and fits in so nicely. One thing I will say, I do have to play test this because I usually do like a basic, I guess you could call it an outline of like my build. And so I try and get the main furniture I want, the main wallpapers, all those things. But as I'm going, I usually add a ton more decor and things get even more squishy. So definitely we'll have to test that. But we are moving on to the kitchen. And actually, that reminds me, one thing I wanted to mention, just like as a catch-up thing, this year has definitely been my year of being just the builder in like real life. I am like so proud of our kitchen right now because I've done a ton of DIY stuff, and I installed a sink by myself, garbage disposal by myself, new faucet. I redid our countertops with epoxy, repainted everything, and I'm just really proud of it. So I wanted to mention it while we're working in this kitchen, because I don't know, it was really cool for me. And I think one of those things is, sometimes like as a woman, it can be really intimidating to do these things. But this is just me saying you can probably do it. And definitely, I think making your space something you feel comfortable and reflects yourself, that's really important to me, and I hope everyone is able to do that. I think having a comfortable space makes such a difference when you're having a bad day. If you can curl up in a space that feels like you, it's really important. So anyways, which it's no wonder why I like building in The Sims, because I just get to do that for pretend all the time. But here you can see we're moving on to the bedroom, and the bedroom, it's one of those things where I kept going back and forth if I like actually liked it or if I kind of hated it. But in the end, I landed on, I really like this bedroom. I know it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and I do wish like this bed came in a slightly different swatch, but it's what we had, it's what we're working with. But it's beautiful colors, and of course it combines that like teal color with the yellow. But the reason I decided I did like it is it reminds me of Jungalow from Target. If you are a Target fan like myself, you might know that line. So once I thought of that, I was happy with the direction it was headed. I will say, coming up here in just a minute, the dresser, I'm not sure. That might change if you download this. I had a different like filter on when I was building, and it just didn't match the same. So, and also one thing, if you have read Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, I did make sure there was a nice big mirror, and I considered like having her own horses, but that wasn't my vibe. And I was imagining if I played this being like, I just don't think horses would work there. But anyways, also please let me know if you're excited for Bridgerton as well. I would love to share my excitement with other people who get it. But yeah, this has been so fun to kind of chat a little bit again, and it's been such a long time since I've shared a build. And this is just really nice. And what's so cool and why I just love being able to post videos is knowing there's people who just get this thing that I love. Not everyone understands why I'm so obsessed with this game, but there are those of you who get it and go to YouTube just to watch builds just like I do. And I just think that's really cool and really special. So I'm happy to have this little time again and to just have taken a minute to like enjoy myself in this like virtual space. So you can see this study is coming together. Of course, we needed a moment to write. Very important, in my opinion, for a Bridgerton build. And that bookshelf I loved, but it just wasn't going to work for this build. So we're actually coming to the end. So thank you very much for taking some time out of your day to watch this video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your week, whatever it is. Thanks again for watching. Bye.